It's always exciting. Always exciting. Loud Esmond here, Wizard Sports Picks. This is UFL Prime Line. UFL Prime Line, where we're going to give you some great picks. We got to get this one out of the way right away, which is the Renegades at the Storm Friday at 5 p.m. So this is coming up right now. Renegades and the Storm are among the lowest scoring teams in the UFL. If you throw out the one game against the Louisville Kings, where I believe they had at least 2 pick sixes, at least 4 or 5 turnovers total that they got, they scored 47 points. They would definitely be at or near the bottom of scoring in the league. And the Orlando Storm, who I thought after the first couple of games of the UFL season, I'm like, oh, these guys are great. They had the experienced coaching staff. They had the good quarterback. They felt so good about themselves. In fact, they traded away Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who is now playing great with the Stallions. And their offense is just stagnant now.
It's crazy that they were trading quarterbacks mid-season, but I guess that's the UFL.
It's kind of standard in the UFL, Joey. Joey Tron, by the way, co-hosted with me this week because Tom Macrina, a.k.a. Rye Cape, I think he's in Atlantic City gambling himself away right now.
No, he's in Dover for the NASCAR All-Star Weekend.
Oh, okay. So sometimes he's in Atlantic City, sometimes he's at NASCAR races.
Mm-hmm.
And so, all right, so he's at the NASCAR, he's at Dover. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, the offense for the Storm has just turned completely anemic. But you know what? They can still play defense. They still are stingy on the other side. And the Renegades just suck out loud bad. And so I have a rule, Joey. I don't pick sides when it's a bad team playing a bad team. Because my feeling about that is you really have no idea what's going to happen. I looked at I have watched my record over the years, and my accuracy in picks goes up in the playoffs significantly because those are good teams against good teams. Right. And an experienced handicapper knows what to look for in terms of matchups, numbers that stick out to them, offense versus defense, special teams, red zone percentages. We can look at those things as an experienced handicapper and go, you know what? I see an advantage in this particular place for this team. When the teams both suck, I think you really have no idea what's going to happen most of the time. So when it comes to games like this, I don't care who's getting the point. It doesn't matter to me either way. My play in this game is the under 45 because the Storm can't score, the Renegades can't score, and the Storm really can play defense. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I just can't see the Renegades being booked as a favorite here. You know, they've lost 5 straight against the spread. They've lost 4 in a row straight up. Last game was the closest game they've been in their last few, losing by just 4. And they were booked as a favorite in all those losses. And that just doesn't sit right with me. I just don't see why the market is putting them there. Granted, I understand why they're putting them there. The Orlando Storm, they've been decent recently, 2-2 straight up and against the spread the last 4. I get it. But Elijah Badger, in my opinion, has just been a breakout star for the Storm offense. And if he's on his A game, I personally think the Storm are live dogs here. And I agree with you, bad team versus bad team. So I personally think that the Storm with the points is a strong play here. Renegades quarterback, Austin Reed, he's thrown 7 interceptions the last 4 games. This Storm defense will be able to pick him off a few times. I really like the points in my back pocket.
Yeah, you know, if I were to go aside in this game, I would be with you. But again, it's just a rule of mine. Bad team against bad team. I just don't do well, you know, and it's something important to know about sports handicapping and betting is, look, you got to know what your own weaknesses are, you know, and when it comes to bad team against bad team, I do not do well. So, you know, here's a little piece of advice. If you're not good at doing something as a sports bettor, stop. You know, I mean, if you just suck at picking baseball, stop. You know, do what you're good at.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's like why I tend to handicap and I want to pick and bet on games in college football that are like the WAC and the MAC and the Mountain West. Those are the leagues because they're less. The book is paying less attention to those games.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
They
on that.
are Ohio State versus Texas, right? And so that's where I think you could find that is and service academies and that kind of stuff. That's where I do well in college football betting. And so just over the years, I have gravitated away from picking, handicapping, or betting on big marquee games in college football. It's like, all right, well, there's a million people doing that. So I will pick the more obscure games. I guess that's also kind of why I'm the UFL guy.
Right? I trend that way with college basketball. I try to find the smaller market, like your Ohio Valley, your Missouri Valley teams, because again, market's not looking at that. They're looking at your Duke, your UNC, your Kansas. So that's where you can really find the advantage in the lines.
Yeah, that's definitely. All right, let's talk about another UFL game. This is the Defenders and Kings. This is Saturday noon, 9 o'clock, where I am in the Pacific Northwest on the West Coast. So this is a thing that the UFL has been doing all season where teams are playing 2 weeks in a row. So the Defenders and the Kings played last week. And the Defenders lost outright as a huge favorite. They were a 10-point favorite by game time. And they lost outright. By the way, I had gotten them at 6.5 earlier in the week, and that was what I suggested. I told people I'm not real comfortable going much higher. Well, I was wrong anyway. So there you go. So these teams met last week. Defenders lost outright as a huge favorite at home. Now they're going to meet in Louisville. And I got to think the Defenders, who looked like the runaway favorite to win the championship 2 weeks ago, but now the Battlehawks are up there, and they're not necessarily looking quite as strong. Remember, for a 3 or 4 week span, they were beating people 45-7, 48-13, and then they were just steamrolling people. And last week, they just completely stubbed their toe. Just like the very first game of the season, they came out and lost to the Storm. What? So after a lackluster game last week, after a lackluster first quarter from both teams, it was a weird game. You had this 0-0 first quarter, and then all of a sudden, after a field goal by the Louisville Kings, there's 2 quick touchdowns scored by the Defenders. And it's like, oh, okay. At that point, I'm like, okay, this is all right. The Defenders are going to start running away with it. Great. And then the Defenders let the Louisville Kings go right down the field. And this pissed me off. With about, 30 seconds left in the half, the Louisville quarterback gets just blasted running down the field, gets blindsided, and he fumbles the ball, and it's recovered by DC. And then all of a sudden there's a late flag, and it's like, oh, well, he dipped his helmet, so it's targeting. And the Kings get the ball back and score a touchdown. Now all of a sudden it's, 13-10 going into halftime. And then DC, right before the half, they go right down the field. They're in the red zone, and then they take a sack, and the clock runs out. So they get no points prior to half. That was a huge swing. Yeah, that was a huge momentum swing right there where, okay, what it should have been was a turnover, Defenders get the ball, and then go down to the least score field goal and go up like 16-3, or a touchdown and go up 20-3. But no, the whole game kind of turned on that call, and then the wheels started coming off for the Defenders. After the Kings get the kickoff, nothing really happens on that except a field goal for them. And then kickoff from the Kings to the defenders. Oh my gosh, the guy is streaking down the field. He's all the way down to the 40 of the other side of the field, and he fumbles the ball. Louisville recovers, and then Louisville goes in for a touchdown on that very same possession, and DC basically did nothing after that. The game ends up, except they dropped a sure touchdown. And on the very next play, it was an interception. So it was weird. The defenders were the best team in the league going into that game. They were absolutely smashing people. I think they kind of overlooked Louisville, and they played sloppy, and they lost. I expect they're going to go in to this game against Louisville very focused and very, very angry. They have the ability to beat anybody in this league by 40 points. I don't mind laying 4.5 with the defenders here.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a total revenge spot for them. This was a one-off, in my opinion. I don't really think Louisville beat DC. I think DC beat themselves, in my personal opinion.
They had multiple turnovers, multiple chances where they could have stopped.
Well, that's where most of the points for Louisville came. It was off those
terrible tackling. A couple of those runs by that running back, it was like watching a video game where the running back is like hitting the X button repeatedly. People are just missing him. It was ridiculous. It was like, what are you doing? Get the guy. I'm screaming at the TV. Make a tackle. Make a tackle, please. I sound like an old school high school football coach.
I think this is a get right spot for them. You know, a lot rides on this game for them. Again, Tiamo had one of the worst games of his life. I really can't see him doing that back-to-back times against this Louisville defense. In my opinion, DC is just a more complete team. They have a very strong pass rush. And if they're the team that generates the turnovers this week, unlike last week where they were the ones that were conceding them, oh man, this is going to be a blowout.
You know what else
I see it.
You know what else I got really frustrated with is every time the defenders blitzed, they got a sack. Every time. And then they would go into this soft coverage. And I'm like, why are you doing that? Because every time they did it, they'd rip off like a 20-yard run with that freaking running back that was running all over the place. Or they'd throw it underneath and gain 7 or 8 yards and keep moving the ball. It's like whenever they blitzed, they absolutely crushed Louisville. The quarterback would just get buried. Or they would, I remember one time down near the goal line, it was an RPO, and there were so many defenders that got through. They tackled the running back and the quarterback with multiple people. It was like 3 guys got the running back, 3 guys got the quarterback, and down they went. So I'm like, I don't understand what the defenders were doing on defense. It's like, guys, just play aggressive, okay? Play aggressive this week, you'll be fine. So we're both on the defenders minus the 4.5.
Oh, yeah. Get right spot. I think they come out big.
Saturday afternoon, Battlehawks Gamblers. Now, this is interesting. I mean, if you look at the standings, it's showing the Battlehawks as the number 1 seed right now. Let me just make sure I've got this. I'm going to pull this up just to make sure I'm looking at this right. But that's what I saw earlier is, technically, for whatever reason, the St. Louis Battlehawks are the 1 seed. The Defenders are 2. Shockingly, the Orlando Storm are still up there, number 3 at 5-2, because, man, they've been terrible. Then the Stallions, then the Kings, and then the Renegades, and then the 2 worst teams in the league, the Aviators and the Gamblers, bringing up the basement at 2 and 5. So here you have the Battlehawks, the best team in the league, according to the standings, who started a little slow but have been improving. They have won their last 3 games by 13, 11, and 8 points. Last week, the Gamblers lost to the Storm, barf, who have not been good. They lost by 1. Before that, they lost to the Aviators by 7. The Aviators are terrible. The 2 worst team in the league are the Aviators and the Gamblers, both at 2 and 5. They're bad. And so you're going to take the Gamblers into the Battlehawks home, where the Battlehawks are trying to fight for the number 1 seed, so to speak. That is the best crowd in the UFL, the best home field advantage. I think the Gamblers are way overmatched here, and I'm glad to lay the 7 points.
Yeah, I'm opposite of you, man. I
Well,
think,
okay, let's go.
yeah, let's do it. I think this is a good spot for Houston. I personally think Lawrence Keys the third and Jalen Cooper are two of the most dynamic players in the UFL. I think they're incredible athletes, and when they're on their game, which they will be on their game this weekend, I think they will give this Battlehawks defense a run for their money. St. Louis, they've won 3 straight, and I agree with you. They might be the hottest team in the UFL right now. They got a really good rush defense, but Houston's offense, granted, it was a storm, but they sustained drives, and their defense made big stops when necessary. And that is not something we saw from a Houston team at all this season. Seeing them actually build on drives, go downfield, seeing their defense make some stops when it was necessary. And I think they're going to carry that momentum, and I think they're going to rain on the parade of St. Louis. And I think they're going to cover this number.
The good news here is we can't lose this game. We're on opposite sides.
Correct.
So
Correct.
You're taking the 7 with the Gamblers. I am gleefully laying the 7 with the Battlehawks.
I think their defense will be disruptive enough. I really do.
All right. Well, we will. Well, like I said, we're going to win this game no matter what. Stallions, Aviators, this is the standalone game on Sunday. This is 1 Eastern, 10 Pacific. This is simple to me. The Stallions average 19 points per game. The Aviators, 21. They're both among the worst team with the worst offenses in the UFL. This is going to be a rock fight. And I don't pick sides in bad teams versus bad teams. I'm going to play the under in this one, under 46.
Yeah, me personally, I kind of like Birmingham in this spot in a little bit. To be honest with you, they're trying to get physical again, and I really think.
Well, DTR Dorian Thompson-Robinson has added a spark. I'll give you that.
Oh yeah, and that physicality is big in the UFL, in my opinion. Their defense is improving. Their run game has become more stabilized, and with DTR, their pass game is really heating up. I think the Aviators really lack the explosiveness on both sides of the ball to keep up with Birmingham, in my opinion.
Well, we agree on that. The Aviators don't have anything on either side of the ball. Sorry. That team has bad coaching, bad players on offense, bad players on defense, and bad special teams. There is nothing.
Bad news bears all around for them.
Yeah, there is nothing to recommend. I was looking for a bright spot. Like, what is it about the Aviators that I like? Nothing. It's like, yeah, as much as I'd love to have that liver pate, I'm going to say no. It's just, actually liver pate is not bad. Liver worst, different story. But yeah, no, I can't. Again, bad teams versus bad teams. What you said about the Stallions playing defense gives me even more confidence that this game is going to go under, because what? Aviators might score 10.
Yeah, I can't see us going over 45.5. I can't. There's no way.
Yeah. And there's some books are 46. So that's up here in Washington at my local sports book, it's 46 right now is the over under. So that's what I played. That's my opinion, and I'm going to stick to it. So just to reiterate, Renegade Storm, I'm on the under 45. You were on the Storm in that one, right?
Yes, sir. I like the Storm with the points.
Storm with the points. Defenders, Kings, we both agree on that game. The Defenders are going to come back and just kick the absolute crap out of the Kings. Battlehawks, Gamblers, but the thing is, boy, are we both going to look stupid if they lose. Because it's like, they just lost to this team. How can you saying they're going to win a week later? Battlehawks, Gamblers, I'm going with the Battlehawks in this game minus the points. I'm laying 7, and you are taking 7 points with the Gamblers. Stallions, Aviators, you like the Stallions here. Again, bad team versus bad team. I'm just going to play the under here. So those are our picks in the UFL this week. Can we talk a little NFL in the couple of minutes that we have left? I think we've got like 6 minutes left.
Perfect. So, 6 minutes exactly.
All right. So here's I've got a handicapping friend. His name is Scott Steen, and he and I couldn't be on more opposite sides of things usually. And let me just say, I hate the Kansas City Chiefs with a white-hot hate. I hate them. I don't know what it is about that team, whether, somebody related to the team messed with a relative of mine in the old world in Ireland or something, but I've just always had it out for the Chiefs. And it just makes me mad what the special treatment that the Chiefs get. So here's their schedule to open the season when Patrick Mahomes, even if he's back, is not going to be 100%. So the Chiefs get the Broncos at home to open the season, probably no Bo Nix. Then they get the Colts at home with no Daniel Jones. Then they go play the Dolphins, who are a complete dumpster fire and are in total rebuild mode. And then their next game is against the Raiders. It's the Raiders. Come on. I know a lot of people are saying good things about the Raiders, but that is still going to be Captain Kirk at quarterback at that point. They're not going to have put Mendoza in yet. That team's got a lot of improving to do. So here are the Chiefs. Do they get any hard games to open the season? Nope. The NFL is going to make sure that Patrick Mahomes has a chance to come back and ease his way in like a nice, comfortable hot tub.
They don't want him to struggle like last season when he actually had to win games down the stretch to actually even make the playoffs.
I look at the crap that they do to Josh Allen and the Bills in terms of where they play and when they play, and then how some teams that just suck get treated. And then other teams like the 49ers this year, they might as well, be on the space shuttle for the amount of miles that they have to travel this season. It's kind of crazy. And can I just say, I hate all the international games. Please stop it.
I think it's so stupid.
It's so dumb. And it's unfair. It's totally unfair to the team that it's supposed to be the home team. They lose a home game.
And I think a big problem too is it's not even so much that it's the international fans that are going to these games. It's your diehard fans who are going overseas to go to the game. Granted, I'm not taking away from those fans in Germany or those fans in England or Brazil who go to the games. But if you were to actually tally the demographic, majority of those people probably come from the States to go to those games.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Well, it gives you an excuse to, I don't know, go to Rio de Janeiro. By the way, let's talk opening week schedule real quick.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. Sure enough, I brought up last year's opening schedule. Come on.
No worries. We got the Patriots and the Seahawks opening night on Wednesday.
Okay, yes.
On NBC.
Yeah, what I was going to say is I love all the primetime games. Patriots, Seahawks, fun. 49ers, Rams, except it's in Australia.
Yeah, what is that?
Still, good matchup. Bears, I'm sorry. Then you get to Sunday, and the Sunday slate's not great. It's okay in the afternoon. But the primetime game on Sunday night, oh boy. Well, you know what? You do get Washington, Philadelphia in the late window on Sunday, but Sunday night, Cowboys, Giants. Man, I love what the Giants have done in the offseason, and the Cowboys have had a very good offseason too. And then you get the divisional game Monday night, Chiefs, Broncos. That's a pretty strong opening week. Prime time.
I'm with you. I think that Cowboys Giants game is going to be a lot better than most people actually give it credit for. I think the Giants will actually show up on their home turf. These two teams hate each other.
Right.
Look at headline. The Giants are actually 2.5-point home dogs. So
makes sense. I love the addition of a Thanksgiving Eve game because that night has traditionally been dead. And so you get Packers Rams on Netflix. And then Thanksgiving is one of the best Thanksgiving schedules in years. Bears, Lions, Eagles, Cowboys, Chiefs, Bills. Oh man. I mean, is that a great day of football?
That's nice.
Yeah. I mean, that is terrific. Absolutely love it. I've lost my timer here for some reason. Are we at 26 minutes quite yet?
Nope. We are at 24:46.
Okay. So quickly then, one more. Christmas. Christmas Eve, Texans, Eagles. Not bad. Christmas Day, Packers, Bears, Bills, Broncos, Rams, Seahawks.
That's going to be a good one.
Night.
Rams, Seahawks in Seattle. Oh, I cannot wait for that one.
Yeah, you know what? I may go to that game because I'm only about 90 minutes from that stadium, and I can actually take Amtrak to the stadium. So
excellent.
If I just wanted to go
treat
myself,
yourself, go for Christmas. Merry Christmas to you.
Well, you know what? My kids are both teenagers now, and one's in college and the other one's finishing up high school. And after we kind of get the presents open by like 10 o'clock in the morning, everybody's off doing their own thing.
I get you.
You know, so I'll make the prime rib early in the day and say I'm out. I'm going to go to the Seattle Seahawks game.
15 seconds.
All right, Joey, thank you very much for filling in for Tom. This is the UFL Prime Line show here with a little NFL mixed in here on Wizard Sports Picks. Thanks for being here, everybody. Until next week.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
You bet, Joey.